Abuja terror alerts. Stop releasing terrorists. Huriwa tells Buhari. Welcome to the news and thank you for tuning in to listen. Please subscribe to our channel. President Muhammadu Buhari has been told the major motivating factor for the expanding frontiers of fracts of attacks by terrorists in Nigeria and the continuous attacks of soft targets by daredevil terrorism masterminds. Huriwa explained that members of the armed Islamics believe that if they kill as many innocent people as they want, they will disably surrender to the army and be given exclusive and preferential treatment as repentant terrorists and released after a few months of a so-called de-radicalization program organized by the military and the orders of the Commander-in-Chief of Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Making the demand ahead of Buhari's convocation of the Emergency Security Council meeting is the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, Huriwa, in a statement by the National Coordinator, Comrade Emmanuel Omobiko. The group said that the frequent and intermittent releases back into the society of terrorists with their hands drenched with blood of innocent children, women, and the elderly without making them go through mandatory judicial punitive measures of the nation's justice system is the most potential recruitment grounds for ISWAP and Boko Haram terrorist network in Nigeria. Huriwa repeated a call on President Buhari to fire his national security advisor, Major General Babagana Mungono retired, and rejig the hierarchies of the armed forces of Nigeria to reflect the federal characters and to ensure that a status quo is not maintained. Specifically, Huriwa recalled that on the 29th July 2020, a high-ranking and influential lawmaker at the National Assembly, Senator Ali Indume, faulted the federal government amnesty for repentant Boko Haram insurgents. The group stressed that a senator stated this following reports of a repentant Boko Haram member who killed his father, stole his wealth, and disappeared after reintegration. The lawmaker representing Borno South in the National Assembly alleged that most insurgents who had recently integrated into the community had returned to their old ways. Indume said the program was unacceptable, calling on the government to stop. Huriwa recalled that a Senate Committee chairman on Army spoke then in a British Broadcasting Corporation (BBC) Hausa program monitored in Kaduna, just as he queried the rationale behind the government investing hugely in repentant insurgents. Indume said rather than training Boko Haram that will not appreciate it, those in the IDP camp should be trained in various trade and vocations. The lawmaker said they are like Karajites. Many among those released have since run away. They will never repent. The government should know what to do about them, but not reintroducing someone to you who has killed your parents or your relations. Not that he even apologized to you. He apologized to the government. His thinking was that the government has failed and that is why they're being pampered. This government program is unacceptable to our people. The right thing to do is to stop it forthwith. If there is the sincerity of the purpose, those in the internally displaced persons camp should be trained in various trades and vocations so that they can start life again. Huriwa recalled that a widow who was featured in the program berated the federal government for training repentant insurgents to be reintegrated into the community. She claimed that the insurgent killed her husband and now left with 4 children. Wondering why the government was pampering the so-called repentant insurgents, she said, "This is hurting. Boko Haram, killed my husband in my presence. They killed my son. I am left suffering with 4 young orphans. Till death, I will never forget that day." Huriwa stated thus, we in the Organized Civil Rights Advocacy Committee believe that the policy of releasing terrorists back into the society after they may have and indeed inevitably shed blood of innocent citizens amounted to the highest grade of illegality on the part of President Muhammadu Buhari, just as the rights group stated that Nigeria is about the only place in the world whereby the government of the day has conveyed to terrorists the idea that they can kill as many citizens as their guns and bullets and bombs can, and deliver to them and for as long as they desire, and then what they need to do to gain reprieve is to surrender to the army and they get some periods of the so-called de-radicalization program paid for by the law-abiding taxpayers, after which they will be reintegrated back into the society, and most of them end up disappearing back to join the terrorist group to relaunch vicious attacks on civilians and government-owned assets and men and officers of the armed forces of Nigeria. Huriwa blamed the security tensions in Nigeria on the illegality of releasing detained terrorists back into the society as repentant terrorists, when it is a universal fact that as an ideology, terrorists will never drop their conviction to kill for their belief system unless they are drastically punished in the severest of way through the legal process. Huriwa also blasted the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo, who recently revealed that a total of 101 combatants comprising members of the Boko Haram and Islamic State of West Africa Province (ISWAP) group have been moved from detention facilities for de-radicalization. Irabo, who briefed State House correspondent on the outcome of a National Security Council meeting held in Abuja on Friday, stressed that the military would sustain its tempo of fighting oil theft and other criminals in the country. The council was also briefed that a total of 101 ex-combatants were taken to Operation Safe Corridor and are currently undergoing the process of de-radicalization at the center. These were people that have been in detention for several years, some of whom have served their jail terms. Others are waiting trial, but because of a long time they had been detained and in line with the procedure of handling anyone who have been involved with terrorism, they have to be moved to the center, he said. Huriwa, which expressed sadness with the current administration, is rather contributing to breeding terrorists by the implementation of the de-radicalization program, called on Nigerians to speak out loud and clear in condemnation of this abominable amnesty program being granted to hardened terrorists, even as the rights group backs Senator Ndumi's position that terrorists are never ever going to repent unless they're subjected to legal regime stipulating harsh punishment for criminal and murderous acts of terrorism. Huriwa said the release of terrorists has led to hyperinflation and the systematic collapse of a nation's economy because investors, including foreign direct investors, have stopped coming into Nigeria, just as the recent security alert level raised on Nigeria by the United States of America and over a dozen other Western nations had led to the fleeing of foreigners living and doing businesses in Nigeria, including the cancellation of many international flights into Nigeria, including but not limited to the British Airways, just as Julius Berger suspended operations in Nigeria as soon as Germany, their home nation, raised the security alert level for Nigeria and informed them of imminent attacks by terrorists in Nigeria. It is only in Nigeria that you will see that terrorists are being pardoned. What terrorists need, what terrorists need now, they attack you, you attack them. They attack you, you attack them. They get the message that there is no place for them in your country, and they will leave. You keep attacking them back, and even if you catch any of them, you know what to do. If they refuse to talk, send them. Let them go back and send other people say they don't do them anything. Now so, by the time they see these people they move, nobody go tell them make them relocate. You are pampering them. People will say I don't brainwash them. You think just by a few months of you go buy them with our money, money they say no, give in short. This issue, if I talk you go pass, but the government, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They have said it before that any day the government comes out to say, oh, this terrorism want to fight it, even if they don't tell us. If they really want to fight it, we go see them for the actions. Okay, on this note, we have come to the end of the news. We say thank you for tuning in to listen. Until I come your way next time, enjoy the rest of your day.